Once the call ended and the money was transferred, I felt an odd mix of relief and dread. The immediate danger had been addressed, and yet I couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. My mom's eyes met mine, devoid of the warmth I had once expected. There was gratitude. No, there was calculation, expectation, a silent message that my act of giving wasn't the end, it was a repayment, a sacrifice demanded by circumstance and family hierarchy. Even in that haze, a spark of defiance flickered inside me. I realized that while I had acted in desperation, the situation had also revealed the truth of our family dynamics. Grandpa's influence was undeniable, my mom's priorities were clear, and I was left with the bitter understanding that love, in this household, was transactional. Yet something in me refused to remain entirely compliant. I knew that paying $500,000 wasn't just a surrender, it was a statement. It was an acknowledgement of the reality I was living in, but it also planted the seed of what I could do next, of how I could reclaim control once I regained strength. As the hours dragged on and the nurses attended to my wounds, I allowed myself a fleeting moment of clarity. I could survive this, not just physically but strategically. The money, the call to Grandpa, the tense stares of my mom, they had all been part of a system I didn't fully control. And while I had acted according to their expectations, I was already thinking about the steps I would take once I could stand on my own feet. The room settled into an eerie quiet. Machines hummed steadily, and my own breathing began to normalize. The bleeding had slowed, thanks to the doctors, and the immediate danger passed. But the events of that day had etched themselves into my mind, a reminder that survival often required sacrifices that tested more than just the body. They tested loyalty, courage, and the willingness to confront the complexities of family power. I knew, deep down, that giving $500,000 had been necessary, but it was only a prelude to the real choices I would soon have to make. In that moment, lying in the stark ICU room, I understood something crucial: the next move would define everything. And I was determined that it would not be dictated by fear, pain, or obligation, but by my own resolve. The moment the transfer of $500,000 was confirmed, a strange calm settled over me, but it was deceptive. Relief mingled with a sharp, simmering anger that I hadn't expected. The immediate danger was gone. I had survived the ICU, the blood loss, the fear, but the realization hit me like a thunderclap. Handing over $500,000 had given them temporary satisfaction, but it had not solved the deeper problem. If anything, it had revealed the true stakes in my family, and I could no longer ignore the power dynamics that had controlled my life for too long. As soon as the doctors allowed me to sit up, I began thinking. Every conversation, every decision up to that moment suddenly made